Hello everyone. Welcome to the day 7 of the cyber awareness campaign Cyber Vakeel launched by Cyber Jagrithi Foundation. Cyber Vakeel, an online awareness campaign launched by Cyber Jagrithi covering a multitude of themes on cyber crimes to create awareness on cyber laws in India. So today we are having session on how to file online complaint on any crime that you are seeing. So today we have a speaker, Advocate Prashant Jhala sir. He is a cyber lawyer, pursued his legal studies from Government Law College based out of Mumbai. He has been instrumental in training the law enforcement agencies across the country, a regular speaker and trainer for bankers, and has spoken at various workshops, events, seminars, webinars organized by information technology stakeholders. He has conducted sessions at various schools, colleges, and corporates. He is currently founder partner for ICL Advocates, co-founder for Indian Cyber Institute, director at Cognizance Education Private Limited, and board member at Global Cyber Security Firm Hyderabad. His academic qualifications is a very big list. He has completed BCom, LLB, Diploma in Cyber Law, Diploma in Digital Evidence Examiner, certified by Department of Homeland Security on various aspects. He has also authored several books and articles. Law of Cyberspace, which deals with the Information Technology Act of India, co-authored ebook Cyber Safe Girl version 1, 2 and 3.0, written articles for a magazine of Bombay Stock Exchange Forum. As a mentor, he has provided guidance to authors while compiling books titled Ethical Hacking, Electronic Scene, Crime Scene Management, Digital Evidence Examiner, and the list is very, very long. So without any delay, let me invite Dr. Prashant Jhala sir to address the gathering and start his presentation.
Good evening, everybody. I guess you said doctor, but I am a patient. In the sense, I'm an advocate and not a doctor. So that's not an issue. So I'm Advocate Prashant Jhala. Good evening to one and all. I welcome you for this webinar on how to file online complaints. Firstly, I would want to thank Cyber Jagrithi Foundation for coming with such a stupendous program all through the month, and they have invited very high profile guests and speakers and resources to actually conduct the entire program. And it's a month-long program which needs too much of efforts, too much of network, and too much of back-end processes which needs to be adhered to. So I'm thankful to Cyber Jagrithi Foundation for giving me a pedestal whereby I can put my little bit of knowledge which I've gathered. I can put my views to that in that front. So as an advocate, I would like to first thank people who have uploaded information, because I have downloaded it from the web world for free. So this is the first head tips. I'm saying thank you to all those who have put up materials, put up websites, put up various kind of documents and PDFs, etc. So I could download it and get information which I will be sharing it with you. It's for knowledge purpose, as you all know. And again, as an advocate, we always need to have a disclaimer in place that these recommendations expressed herein are mine. They do not reflect the views of any government or any other individual. And I do not intend to criticize, though I may do so in the course of my lecture. I will try not to. But in the course of awareness, I may have to say a sentence or two, not against, but just to realize or make the awareness from our part as to where we stand or what are the lacunae which we are facing. So yet I would not intend to do so, and I respect the rights of every individual. Now, the topic which I saw is about complaints. The Indian legal system will talk about two types of complaints. It could be a civil or a criminal. So if it is, if you are put in facts for claiming compensation, damages, injunctions, etc., that's more for quantified money. If you are looking at or damages you are looking at, then it's a civil side. So you can always have a complaint on the civil side. And you can also complain against unlawful activities, illegal activities, or maybe the offenses which are committed against you or against someone else when you have a strong knowledge about it. So when it comes to complaints, we are going to look at both the sides of the coin, the civil as well as criminal. And when you are talking about the cyber world, more so there are some more effects to the cyber world as well. So we are going to talk about that cyber world as a tool. Okay, so this is my law firm, icladvocates.com. That's the website. And I hail from Mumbai. I have an office at Nariman Point. And this is my institute whereby we teach cybercrime investigation, computer forensics, ethical hacking, information security, cyber law, and so on and so forth in the field of information technology. So the website address is indiancyberinstitute.com. And as I said, we are based out in Mumbai, and we have full-fledged programs for the list which I just mentioned hereby. So these are my contact coordinates or my details. If you want to click a photograph, or maybe if you want to save a screenshot for yourself, you can always for future references. So that's my personal number as well. All right. Now, let us start with, because I'm not going to go deep into what is cyber law, what is cyberspace, what are cyber crimes, etc. Because I'm sure in this month-long program, you will be having, or you will be listening to lots of different definitions which would be prescribing about the the aspects of what is the definition and what would it mean, what would it not mean. I think so we need to concentrate onto the topic which has been given to us, and it is more about cyber laws and complaints where actually we need to go to redress them. So we will restrict ourselves to a certain point whereby we don't go into too many details and end up somewhere else. So ITX section 1, of course section 1 subsection 2 says it extends to whole of India. And further, I've underlined so it becomes easy for us. It also applies to any offense or contravention thereunder committed outside India by any person. So anywhere in India, if a person commits a cybercrime, he or she can or may have to face the music of the law. Or if the offenses of contraventions, when we say offense, it becomes a criminal angle. When we say contraventions, breaches, or infringements, we are talking of the civil side. So it talks about offenses as well as civil. So criminal as well as civil side. So if there is a offense or a contravention thereunder committed outside India by any person, then again this person is liable. And to that section, we need to read section 75, which talks about extraterritorial jurisdiction. Now this section says, I'll give you an example. Suppose if I am a citizen of US, I am sitting in Russia. Citizen of US sitting in Russia. I am hacking into the Bank of China. I am breaking open their vault and I am transferring money, half of them to Switzerland and the other half to Australia. Now, you see the dynamics because it's a borderless crime. So I am citizen of US sitting in Russia, hacking into the bank vault of China, transferring money, half of them to Singapore, to Switzerland, and half of them to Australia. But for doing so, if I am using any of the the virtual infrastructure located in India, then the section 75 says I can be brought to books by this section. So otherwise, if you see, there is no connection because I am not a resident of India, I am not a citizen of India, I have not committed a crime against India, but I have used some physical or virtual infrastructure which was located in India in furtherance of commission of a cybercrime, and hence this section says by the virtue of this section, I can be brought to books and face liability in the Indian courts. Now, by the same analogy, if I ask you a question, suppose if I am a Pakistani and I go to Nepal and kill a Nepali with a knife made in India, can India ever call up a liability or pick up a liability against this Pakistani? So I reiterate, I'm a Pakistani, I go to Nepal, take a knife made in India and kill a Nepali. Just because that the knife was made in India, can Indian government call up a liability or pick up a liability against me? No. But if you see in analogy, when it comes to cyber crimes, it says that if any infrastructure, be it virtual or physical, if it is used in furtherance of a crime anywhere, and be it any citizen, irrespective of his nationality, then that person can be called to face the music under the Indian judicial system. Now, having said that, see, this is a jurisdiction which we have declared. But having said that, can we really apply and can we really get those criminals to book? Yeah, can we get them to face the Indian judiciary? No. So we need to have extradition in place. We need to have mutual legal assistance treaties in place. We need to have ad hoc treaties or agreements in place. Because if they are not there, then getting someone, and more so if the crimes are happening across the border from unfriendly countries, yeah, then of course they are not going to help us in any way. So then investigation stops then and there. And when there is multi-dimensional, multi-border crimes, it becomes so much so difficult for the law enforcer to book the person, because then he has to cross more boundaries. Every boundary has a different law. For example, what is pornography in India is not pornography in US. What is privacy in US is not yet privacy in India. So probably there are lots of differences in different laws of different countries. Jurisdictional issue is the biggest win, because technology is global but the laws are local. I cannot have an international boundary. I am bound by my geographical area, so I cannot go away from it. So that's why it is said that technology is global, but the laws are local. Yeah, technology keeps on changing every now and then. Laws cannot change every now and then. As you know, there is a process behind it. So there is a sense of containment. There is a process to it, and hence you can't just keep on changing the law, because then the makers would not know what to make, the executors wouldn't know what to execute and when to execute, and the followers or the citizens like us will not be able to adhere to every aspects of law. So there has to be some method to this process, and that's why it's very difficult in a democratic situation or a country to form laws, amend laws every now and then. Yeah. So we keep on arguing we need new laws. Yeah, we need new laws. But is it easy to frame? And even after framing, because the technology is going to change, is it going to contain all the crimes? Can we predict those crimes? Then we are talking about AI. We are talking about the dark web, which is yet to be explored. We are also talking about deep neural learning. So we are yet to grapple with all this. We are grappling with cloud as right now. So we are yet to grapple with all this. We are yet to grapple with Internet of Things, the IoT, and the IIoT, the Industrial Internet of Things. So we are yet to face that situation, but I'm sure Indian judiciary, Indian legislators, and the stakeholders are doing their best to get the best piece of legislation so that cybercrimes can be covered to a great extent. Now, registration of cybercrime complaint. Now in Mumbai, every police station has a cyber cell. So there are about 2 or 3 officers who have been trained in the cybercrime and cybercrime investigation scenarios, and even the cyber law. So if there is a crime happening in a Mumbai, and if my jurisdiction is, say, suppose Bandra, then I have to go to my local police station Bandra, ask for the cyber cell officer, and the cyber cell officer will take down the complaint and he will do the needful. Else, you can go to a cyber police station if there is one in an urban city, like in Mumbai we have. So if you have a cyber police station, you can go there. But my best piece of advice would be stick to the local police station. The local police station will write to the cyber police station in regards the technical help which they want. Yeah. So it's always better to stick to the local jurisdiction. You can go about 10 times and meet the officer, talk to him, ask him the response, ask him the results. Yeah. Cyber police station is an option, but yet better option is a local police station, if at all you have cyber cell in it. Then you get, if there is no cyber police station, if you go to mofussil areas, if you go to rural areas, then you have to attend, or rather you have to go to a cybercrime cell. So most of the rural areas would have cybercrime cell. They would not have police stations. Yeah, and even the local police officers or local police stations may not have cyber cells or officers trained in cyber. That maturity is happening. It's going to happen one day, but we are yet into a process. So when we are going to talk, about the online part, I just recollect section 9 of the IT Act, which says that we can talk about e-delivery system, we can talk about e-governance, but yes, section 9 says that no one can insist that a police officer or a particular government department or its agency needs to accept only soft copies of complaints. So there is a protection, there is a caveat by section 9 of the IT Act, which says that you cannot insist that because I have got online facilities, I'm going to only send you online complaints. It may so happen that if you are in an urban area, you may not have connectivity, the internet connectivity may not be there, you may not have your systems, the right systems in place, you may not have the power may come and fail, you never know. Yeah, so you may not have the bandwidth whereby you could, take in the complaint, take the printouts, and of course work in a dignified manner. So apart from Mumbai, where we have these possibilities, or apart from cities, mega cities where the facilities are available, of course you should go for it. But if not, you can't be insistent that you will have to take a complaint in writing. Now, as I said, cyber crime cell in rural areas. Next is you may approach any senior officers. It could be an SP, DCP, anyone above PI rank, because cybercrime investigation, again, Section 78 says a PI can investigate a cybercrime. Here we are not talking about investigation as of now. We are just talking about reporting. So reporting, if sub-inspector is not available or if he is not comprehending, I'm sure he would, but if he doesn't, then you can go to a PI or his seniors. So it could be a SP level or DYSP level, or maybe a DCP if it's a metro police. Now, jurisdiction, cybercrime complaint. Information of cybercrimes can be given to any of the cyber cells in India, irrespective of the place where it was originally committed, because there is no boundary. As I told you in the earlier case, how if I am a national of US and sitting in Russia and I commit a crime, so it's a borderless crime. It does not have any kind of hindrance when it comes to border. And when it is borderless, then see the content. Suppose if I get a very offensive, obscene message on my mobile here in Mumbai, I go to Gujarat, I can, again, see that same content. I fly to Hyderabad, and if I see my mobile, I have the same content. So I have the content everywhere. It's the same. There is no jurisdiction. But that mobile phone does contain an obscene act, an obscene photo, which comes under Section 67 of the IT Act and punishable up to 3 years, being obscene, being lascivious, etc., which the section talks about. So irrespective of the place where it was originally committed, you can go and complain anywhere. So that's why last line is zero FIR, which I'll just explain you. So irrespective of the place where it was originally committed, you can just go to a cyber cell and complain about the crime. As I said, you can access the crime whenever and wherever you want, and it can be from different devices. Suppose if I came to know about a message which came on my WhatsApp account, the same WhatsApp I can also go to my office or to my residence and have a look in my PC or my laptop, because there is WhatsApp web too. So same, that criminal or the offensive photo or a picture can be displayed there as well. So different devices, but of course the modus operandi which was played against me would remain the same. So thus, irrespective of jurisdiction, an FIR under Section 154 CRPC has to be registered by a police officer. So there are no two ways. There are catena of judgments which says that anyone having knowledge of a cognizable offense, it need not be the victim himself or herself. So suppose if I am a victim and I'm at Hyderabad and something transpires with me and I want to lodge a complaint in Mumbai, then I can tell my wife to go to the police station and register an FIR on my behalf. Anyone having credible information of a cognizable offense can give that information to the police officer, and it becomes a mandatory duty of a police officer to register a complaint and put it into an FIR, or rather lodge an FIR under Section 154 of the CRPC. Then I may come from Hyderabad and give my statements that of course would follow, and then the investigation would set in, because the moment FIR is in place, investigation can set in. Now it is mandatory to register a zero FIR. So suppose if I am in Hyderabad and if I come to know that a few lakhs of rupees have been swindled from my credit card, so I cannot wait and come to Bombay and then put a claim against the bank and then register an FIR. Suppose if I have shared the credentials and it's about Section 420 to be applied, then I can ask someone. I can go to Hyderabad police station and also tell them to have a zero FIR being registered, and they, after looking at my jurisdiction, would send that zero FIR to the place of original jurisdiction, which would be my Bombay or Mumbai or wherever I reside. So that concept of zero FIR again is always there. A woman can go to any police station and register an FIR at any point of time. She need not even go to a police station. She can call the officer at a place of her convenience and where she is less distressed. Yeah, less distressed, and she can give information, and FIR may be lodged accordingly. Yeah, so zero FIR concept is very important. And because it's a borderless crime, and as I said, if I'm traveling for 10 days, and if there is a fraud which has happened, I need to have an FIR in place. I can lodge an FIR as a zero FIR. And finally, the zero FIR goes back to my jurisdiction, the place where I live, ideally. Now, email cybercrime complaint, every police station has a dedicated email ID being provided to them. Yeah, so you can, via mail, you can send the soft copies of your complaint. It depends on the nature of the complaint. You have to send screenshots, or maybe you will have to send the copies of the SMS. You will have to write about when, where, how the crime transpired, the time stamping. You will also have to give documentary evidence to that effect. If it's an obscene photo, then you have to take a printout of the photo and probably upload that content. But by far and large, it is always better to visit a police station personally and hand over copies to them, hard copies, of course, to them, and give proper acknowledgements. As I said, we are not very, now I wouldn't say we're not very conversant, but of course we lack in spirit somewhere to, have a complete online scenario. Nevertheless, there are some websites which we are going to discuss, which are only, talking about online situations. So ideally, you may go to the police station and serve hard copies. And in case if you cannot go, or in case if the police officer for some reason refuses to take your complaint, you can send a registered AD, RP AD, or a registered post with acknowledgement due. And once it is sent and once you get the acknowledgement, that means from your side, the information has been given to the police station. Whether they act or not is a different story altogether. But from your end, I said, you have done your steps for redressal. Yeah. So again, emails can be sent, but ideally, as I say, it's better to go personally and serve hard copies. Where to file cybercrime complaints? Place where the complainant resides. So suppose if I am at Bandra, then I can go to the Bandra police station when I come to know of an obscene content which has come on my phone. I can go with my my complaint and can ask to register an FIR under section 67 of the IT Act. It's a cognizable act, and all cognizable acts, so FIR has to be in place. Yeah, so that is possible. So because I am a complainant and I reside at Bandra, that's why I go and complain in the police station. Now, where the accused resides, it's not very practical. Why do I go to the, now that's only when I know about the accused. Suppose if I know that the accused is living in Ghatkopar, then I will go to Ghatkopar police station. That is okay, but that does not make sense. Why would I go to Ghatkopar? My jurisdiction is Bandra. It becomes easy for me to approach the police station every now and then. So it becomes more practical to go to a place where you reside, or where your office is, or where your workplace is. That's more sensible. Third is place where cause of action lies. So again, I am at Bandra and something has happened in Andheri. My cause of action, my bank is in Andheri. I did not go to Andheri. I can go to Bandra and say that my credit card was, swiped, and there was some, I have not shared the OTPs, and there was some withdrawals made. So I need not go to Andheri because the cause of action lies at Andheri. My bank was in Andheri. Yeah, but I can go to Bandra where I reside and again give a complaint. So next is place where the crime came to the victim's knowledge. So again, I am in Bangalore and I come to know that my card was swiped in the middle of the night, yeah, and there was no OTP, etc. Then I can go to one of the police stations or the nearest police station in Bangalore and register an FIR over there. Yeah, because that's the crime. That's the time when it came to my knowledge. So it's better that I put a FIR in place. I also tell my bankers to block my card and do all the needful. I fill in the dispute redressal form, etc. So I save the money which has been lost due to no fault of mine, and there is an RBI guideline to that as well. Now, a written or a verbal complaint can be filed with the magistrate as well. We call it 156, 156 or 156.3. So, of course, there are subsections, but you see under section 156, you can also file a complaint with the magistrate, either verbal or written, and they have got powers to take cognizance of the same under section 190 of the CRPC, that is Criminal Procedure Code. For social media crimes like FB, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Telegram, etc., they all have a strong mechanism for reporting and to protect users from online abuse, obscene materials, and fake profile accounts. If you just if you have listened to the news in the morning, and even it's appearing in the newspapers, that Mumbai police is suspecting that from 8,000 to 80,000 automated bots have been used to send tweets, to send posts, all fake, and trying to defame the Mumbai police. So that's what they claimed, and that's what being showed even in the TV and the digital media. Yeah. So social media platforms, they have their own mechanism. If you can follow that, yeah, then they will surely help you to block those offending material or maybe defaming material. Yeah, so they have their guidelines that needs to be followed for reporting or blocking. Nevertheless, if you feel that you are defamed, if you feel you are cheated, if you feel there is some pornographic content which has come to your system, is sent by someone, if you feel there is an identity theft, if you feel someone has cheated you by personation, verbalism, someone has taken photographs in privacy, then all these come under IT Act, and they are all cognizable in nature. Hence, an FIR can always be taken. Now, the only thing is, I want to tell you that merely because a digital device or a computer system is used in furtherance of commission of a crime need not necessarily mean it will be a cybercrime. I'll reiterate. Merely because someone is using digital device or a computer system in furtherance of a commission of a crime, it need not necessarily mean that it will be an IT Act provision. It did not go under IT Act always. For example, if I lift my phone and threaten someone, it goes under a threat, under the IPC. Suppose if I send a threatening mail to someone, it goes under threat, again IPC. Yeah. Hope everything is okay. Is everything okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought I was getting a call, so I thought, okay. Sorry for that. So as I said, FB, Instagram, and they all have a strong mechanism. Nevertheless, you can go to a police officer, and for cognizable crimes, you can always lodge an FIR. And once an FIR is there, investigation starts. And as I told you, that IT Act is a very small act. It has got just 13 chapters and 94 sections, and not all sections are operational, or not all sections give punishment or award punishment or jail term or a fine to an accused. So there are only very few sections. If I really count the sections, it would be around 20 or 21 of them out of the 94, which are really operational. Of course, there are some civil side as well, civil wrongs as well. But if you see penal sections, there are quite a handful. So I think so. It's a very small act. So wherever there is an IPC crime, then the IPC will take over, and IPC has been amended thereof. The IPC has been amended. That's why it has a wider ambit to also look after these crimes. For example, stalking. Stalking has got no book or no section or no provision in IT Act. You have to go for section 354. Yeah, 354D, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 354D. So, cyberbullying, we do not have direct section which would go and penalize or could provide for such kind of acts. Then we'll have to look at the IPC as well. Nevertheless, in one of the judgments, Supreme Court has said that I do not have the citation right now, but it has said that where there is a clear-cut case of an IT Act being, there is an offense under the IT Act, take IT Act and don't mix it with IPC. So if it is electronic form and obscene content has been published, take 67 and don't go for 292, 294 or other sections. Yeah. They say it's a special act. It has an overriding effect. So it has to be, applied in that particular manner. Complaints against intermediaries. So intermediaries could be internet service providers, network service providers, telecom service providers, e-commerce sites. They all have mandatorily, have to mention a grievance officer's name and even email ID, even mobile number if necessary. So they have to put these contact details, and there is a mechanism, there is a time frame as per the rules of 2011 of the intermediaries. So they need to adhere to this. So there is a system in place if there is any complaint against the intermediaries, as I've told you. It could be payment gateways, it could be web hosters, website hosters. All these have a strong mechanism which they need to adhere to as per the intermediaries rules and regulations of 2011. Yeah. So, and again, if you interact with the intermediaries, and if you are not okay with their responses, then again you may go to the law enforcement agencies if you feel that you are cheated, or there was criminal misappropriation or criminal breach of trust, or some identity theft. And if you feel, you can go to an appropriate authority. For example, there is adjudicating officer under the IT Act who looks after the civil side, or you can go to the respective courts. So if intermediaries, the provisions which they have made, if you are not happy with them, then there are roads open for you to visit other places as well. Now, this is of the civil side under the IT Act. It talks about Section 43, Clause A to J, and Section 43A. Section 43, Clause A to J talks about unauthorized access, and Section 43A talks about data privacy. So I'm not going to explain you the section, but I just want to tell you that by virtue of Section 46 of the IT Act, whenever there is a compensation claim or damages claim up to 5 crore, then you have to go to the adjudicating officer, who is supposed to be the secretary of the Information Technology Department of the state. So go to Mantralaya, go to IT Information Technology Department, whoever the secretary is de facto an adjudicating officer, and adjudicating officer has to grant compensation or damages up to 5 crores and civil side. Yeah, of course, when you talk of money, it's of course civil side. Yeah, so this powers he is derived from Section 46, and the same section further says that in cases of compensation or damages above 5 crores, you have to go to a competent court. So it could be an high court, because Section 61 bars jurisdiction of civil courts. It says you cannot bring your civil wrongs under the IT Act. They cannot be brought to civil courts, because civil courts otherwise also is heavily. They are heavily. There are lots of filing, and they're burdened in that way. Now, that brings me to the online complaint, or the portal which helps you to file your online complaints. Very strong portal. I would ask, or rather request, each and every participant to go through each and every tabs. I'm going to just have a walkthrough of the same. But I would want you all to actually, after the session, really open this whenever you have time and really look at all the tabs. It's been very effective, and I'll just share a case study which happened about 2 days back. So it would be an eye-opener for all of us that it is that effective to register a complaint over here. So it's called the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. Having said that, it also talks about crimes like child pornography, of course, is a cybercrime, but it talks about rape and gang rape also. So it's an IPC crime. So nevertheless, it's been mentioned over there, though it is mentioning National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. So the site address is cybercrime.gov.in. Floated around 2019, and this is the data which I just got online. 700 police districts are now attached to this particular domain, and 3,900 police stations have enrolled themselves and are participating with cybercrime.gov.in. Complaints can be filed, which are filed can be converted into FIR if it so deserves or warrants. So if it so deserves, when you send a complaint, there is a mechanism, there is a machinery. If you see the last line, it talks about nodal cyber cell officers, and it also provides for grievance officers. So whenever you upload a crime over there, it goes to the particular state. That state officer, who is a nodal officer, will take a call whether it warrants to be converted into an FIR or not. If it is, then he will send it to the jurisdiction where that person, he or she resides, and an FIR is lodged or registered. Yeah. So they have a provision for nodal officers as well as grievance officers. Of course, I have them in the sites as well. So we are going to talk more. So there is a homepage when you go to it, and then you have to say, I want to file a complaint. So when you say, I want to file a complaint, it goes to the next tab, report woman-child related crime. Now there are two ways. When you hit that button, there is a down window which gives you two tabs: report anonymously, report and track. Yeah. So now it's crime against women, children. See, there are two main tabs for registering crime. One is report woman stroke child related crime. Next, report other cyber crime. If you see next to it, report other cyber crimes. So there are provisions for both. But for women and children, there is a specific tab which has been created. And in that, again, you have got two more folds. It talks about either you can report anonymously, where you need not put your credentials. You have to just mention the crime. I'll show you the slide. And report and track. So then you have to create a login. You will get a tracking number, and of course SMSs and email then will follow. So report anonymously. Now, report anonymously is also given because of the catena of judgments which have come from Supreme Court, and by virtue of Section 228A of the IPC. 228A of the IPC, which says that in cases of grievous crime against women, like sexual assault or rape or gang rape, so they have specifically mentioned section, or maybe there is grievous hurt or acid being thrown at women, or maybe a woman is poisoned. And in such cases, they have said that section 376, 376A, 376B, 376C, 376D, and 376D, E. So right from 376 to 376E, all these, whenever these crimes or offenses have taken place, then the victim, being a woman, her name should not be revealed anywhere. Even the media is asked to maintain this privacy. They cannot, even when the FIR is lodged, it's been lodged in a manner that only the magistrate would have the actual name, and not even any other officer would come to know about it. Because there has to be a privacy being guarded. And there are catena of judgments which talk about privacy being guarded. Even for children, because there are a few sections of POCSO, prevention of children from sexual offenses. So in those cases also, the name of the child needs to be withheld. I was just reading that in certain cases, the names are given, but if it's really warranted so. I don't know in which instances, but I just read through it, so I would not, comment on too much. But that's why anonymity is a must. Now, having said that, I, as a bit, I'm not a technocrat, but I would know that whenever I use internet to go online, I would go onto this particular website and lodge a complaint, then my IP address would be logged. My ISPs will be having my IP address. So some way that backtracking could happen, and at least the system which was used, the IP address which was used, and the system which was used probably may, come into being. But that should not deter us, because the whole idea here is the police is not going to harass you. The idea here is you can remain anonymous, but you should give the right information so that right action can be taken. And also police is not taken for a ride unnecessarily, not to burden the police machinery. Yeah. So they have given you this secrecy. They do not follow your footsteps. But I, as an IT, a partial IT guy, I would really ponder upon this thought as well. Now, filing a complaint, as I said, first is reporting about women and child-related crime, and we are talking about the anonymous. So I say, if you see extreme right down, it's written file a complaint. So I say file a complaint. You say, would you accept this as usual? We don't read any terms and conditions. So here also, we need not read it, and we say I accept. Once you go there, now there is a list of complaints. So it talks about publishing or transmitting of material containing sex. Next, it says child pornography, that's CP, child sexual abuse material, CSAM, rape, stroke, gang rape, it's RGR, yeah, sexually abusive content, publishing or transmitting sexually abusive material in electronic form, publishing or transmitting of material containing sexually explicit acts in electronic form. So you have to pick which one you want to report, and then you have to give them the time, the date, the place of the crime, a little bit of description, and you have to be very precise so that the police officer can go to that particular jurisdiction, ask that particular officer to make proper inquiries and generate a report thereof. And from here on, if everything what you have mentioned, and if there is a crime, if it's a cognizable crime against a woman, against a child, then an FIR can be lodged to that effect. So the same complaint will act as a basis of be turned into an FIR. Yeah. So you have to give the complainants the incident details, then details of suspects. Yeah. And once you preview, you hit the next button, and save, and you say the next, but you go to the next button, and you get a, and of course your complaint is registered. Now ideally you don't have to track anything here, so you may not get a tracking number. Now, report and track. The next step was report and track. Here, you will have to create a login at your end. So you have to select the state where the crime or where you reside. You have to have your login details. There will be an OTP number which will be, sent to you for verification. Then once you have the login in place, you will have to register the crime. Again, the same functions. You will give the details of the crime, the place, when, where, how, why, short description. Yeah, in some numbers of characters. Once this is done, because you want to track, because you have opted for track and report, you get a tracking number. So if you see at the bottom, there is a tracking number as well. So that number can be used in future. You will get an SMS to that effect. You will get an email also to that effect. Report other cyber crimes. So other than women and child related crimes, as I told you, there were some other crimes also. So that also can be reported, but they cannot be reported anonymously. And that's why you need to create a login, as earlier we did it for tracking and reporting. So again, you have to have your credentials placed over there. You get a tracking number after inserting all, or rather after filling up all the credentials, all the provided boxes. Once you do that, once you say I agree, you get a tracking number which can be used for future inquiries. Now, there is one more tab for resources. There is FAQ, there is citizens manual, there is cyber security tips, and cyber awareness. I guess you should read each and every. You should visit each and every tab and read it in detail. It's really, it's really informative in a kind. So FAQs. So what is the purpose of this portal? What is child sexual material abuse, so on and so forth. It's a long list. So that's for the FAQs. Or maybe you have criminal manual. Then it talks about the manual report of child pornography, rape and gang rape complaints. Then it says you can download citizen manual report for other cyber crimes, because you can report both other cyber crimes as well as crimes against women and children. And finally, it also talks about citizen manual for reporting and management system is for only financial crimes in Delhi. So for people residing in Delhi, they have got one more download to look at. Then there is online safety tips. So you have handbooks for students on safety in Hindi and also in English. So you need to visit and actually read them. Then there is cyber awareness. That was the last in the tab. So it talks about you can download content on financial frauds, job frauds, matrimonial frauds. So these are all other frauds, which the other cyber crimes which we are talking about. Safe use of social media platforms. So it's more about awareness, cybercrime awareness booklet on cybersecurity awareness. So as I said, it talks about cyber awareness, and that's why the tab also, the heading also says so. Now, if you go to contact us, I told you there is a nodal cyber cell officer, and there are also grievance officers. So their names have been given, their designations have been given, their email IDs have been given. So you can approach the officer straight away directly, or maybe if you are not happy with the nodal officer or something goes wrong, then you can always approach a grievance officer. They are the senior officers. They could be an ADGP or DGP level, you know, or be DIGP. Yeah. So those level. So ideally, you can approach a nodal cybercrime officer, or finally a grievance officer, and all their contact details have been provided on the portal itself. So it becomes so easy for you to interact with the right officers and place your facts in front of them. Then there is a helpline. That was the last tab in this particular website. So it talks about helpline number. That's the helpline number, and there's a time. Now, caution. Remember, you may withdraw complaints for all the other crimes, but before they are converted into an FIR. So you need to take care. You have entered a complaint, but now you feel that you want to really backtrack and you don't want to register the complaint. Then before it is converted into an FIR, you need to backtrack and withdraw it, because once an FIR is in place, as you know, then High Court has the inherent powers to quash them under Section 482. And of course, there are various other provisions to that effect as well. But crime against woman and child cannot be withdrawn. So for the other crimes, it's okay, you can withdraw, but before lodging or before converting it into an FIR. But when it comes to a crime which is reported against child or a woman, they cannot be withdrawn. So the system says that you cannot withdraw such crimes. And of course, nodal officers and grievance officers, I have already told you, there is a headline number which I already showed, and they are also there on at CyberDost is their Twitter handle as well. This is the case study which I was talking about, reported on this node and this National Cybercrime Reporting Portal itself. Cops in Haridwar, see October 2020, this month, and it was on 5th of October. So cops in Haridwar are looking for the person who has been posting child pornography on social networking site Facebook. Okay, so someone is posting child pornography. That's what Facebook has claimed. And Facebook has complained, has entered the complaint into this particular portal. And now the police is on the sprawl to catch the accused. So case registered against the unknown person under IT Act and other relevant sections of the IPC. So it's very effective. As I said, there is a straightaway action, and hence we need to see and understand the portal, how it works, and I'm sure we will start registering, if at all there are cases against us in as transpired from cybercrimes. We can always use this portal. Now, ncpcr.gov.in is yet another site, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. You are going to have a complete session, I am sure, in future. So I will not actually go into too much of detail, but it is a Commission for Protection of Child Rights. So it deals with POXO crimes, and hence there is a button that is e-box. If you click on it, it takes you to another page. If you again click on to that page, there are about 6 to 8 diagrams which shows that where the child has been harassed, he or she has to go and click on those photographs. So it could be at the school, in the garden, at the house, that bad touch, etc. So there are 6 to 8 photographs. The child has to click on that photograph and just send it, or rather apply. So then, of course, I think so more on it when the right person comes and talks to you. But this also is an option when it comes to child rights. CERT, Computer Emergency Response Team India, also called INSERT, because if you see section 70, it talks about Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. So it was operational from 2004, but in 2008, it came into being because section 70B of the IT Act said that there has to be an Indian Computer Emergency Response Team who will serve as a national agency for incident response. So for any kind of incident response which are full of gravity, which are against the country, against the economy of a state, then for that matter, the matters can be reported to them. So what kind of matters? Computer security incidents and vulnerabilities. So there is a tab for that as well. So this is the domain for that. So this is the address, cert-in.org.in. And this is the homepage of CERT-in, Computer Emergency Response Team. It's working its way through. It's working really hard and very purposeful as well. And if you can see reporting on the left side in orange color, so incident reporting, vulnerability reporting, and feedback. So any kind of reportage from your end, if you want to report to CERT, then they will willingly look into the matter, and once you upload it, they will verify and put it in their website. So either incidents which already have been like cause of say ransomware attack, or maybe hacking which has already taken place, or there are vulnerabilities, there are bugs in the system which could be exploited, then you can also report those bugs, saying that such and such system has bugs and probably there could be a compromise of the system. So that also can be reported. For bank frauds, credit debit card frauds, UPI, e-wallets, and online banking frauds, a couple of slides saying every bank has a dedicated email ID, and the bank frauds, you can always complain through emails. And of course, the complainant will get a tracking number for the same. And for evidence purpose, you need to send your screenshots of SMS. Suppose someone has called you, it was a phishing call, then it was a smishing call, it was a phishing call, then the phishing email you will have to send as an exhibit. Yeah. So the documents need to be uploaded. And mind you, just for the bank fraud, I'll tell you that if there is no fault of yours, Yeah, so no fault of customer. So I have not shared my OTP, I have not clicked any link on a phishing mail, and yet my money is gone. Then if within 3 days I upload all this information, I also inform the police, I also fill up the online form or the offline form of redress dispute redressal form, then I will lose no money at all. But no fault of mine, no fault of customer, reporting within 3 days, then the RBI says that straight away money has to come back to you and you will not be penalized for any losses. Filing complaints with the RBI in case you are not happy with the bank's response or orders, then you can go to csm.rbi.org.in. It's called Ombudsman, very effective. Lawyers have been using it, and have um, got favorable orders against the bank. So there's a simple interface. If you see, there's file and complaint, there's track your complaint, and there's file and appeal. And it also teaches you how to file a complaint, detailed documents which are required, how to track your complaint, and finally how to appeal against ombudsman if at all you want to. Yeah. So file a complaint again, ombudsman. So you have to select who is the entity. Are you filing against a bank? Are you filing against non-banking financial company like Tata Finance or maybe Bajaj Finance? Or maybe are you filing against a system participant? Then you have to fill in the details like the mobile number of the complainant, area of operation of the ombudsman for digital transaction, the state, the name of the bank and the email of yours, etc. And that's how you register your complaint online for ombudsman. Now, for consumer helpline, also there is an online facility, because we are talking of complaints. We will talk of all the complaints, be it civil nature or be it of criminal nature. So for consumer helpline, you have this consumerhelpline.gov.in. Again, a very strong portal. I don't know about the effectiveness, but it's a strong portal for sure. I it's not a statement which is against them, but I haven't really filed any cases as of now in online form. So this is the interface, or this is the home page which shows you Jago Barak Jago. And once you are there on the portal, you can call to register your grievance. So you are given a toll-free number where you can call. Then you can SMS on this number and on a particular number, and they will get back to you. Now, next you can register online. So online complaints can be filed because there is a provision to it. Else, they would say you download our NCH app and you can send your grievances there. Or they would say you can have a consumer app that can be downloaded and you can put your grievances there. And finally, it says you can download an Umang app as provided by the government and you can put your grievances there. Now, I'm talking about Fish Tank and few others which are private or not-for-profit organizations. I will not vouch for anything because then you have to look for yourself. Looks to be good, but everyone has to apply prudence while approaching such sites and interacting with them. So nothing against the site, but as I said, prudence has to prevail. Yeah. So reportphishing.in is in the beta version, so let's not talk about it. But fishtank.org, if you think that there was a phishing site which you came across, then you can go to the fishtank.org. Yeah, fishtank.org is PHISH tank.org. You can type the name. I have typed the name of my institute, and I have asked, is it a fish? So I clicked on that button, and now it is saying it is saying nothing known about this. So that means this website is clear for sure, because had it been a phishing site, it would have shown that it is a fish. Yeah. So this is not a phishing website for sure. So also we have got one more domain, or you can call it it's haveibeenpawned.com. So if you go to this particular website, again they provide services same as Fish Tank. Have I been pawned, and PWNAD, that A is missing in the spelling. So if you see below, its email address, so you either put your email address. I put my email address, prashant@indiancyberinstitute.com, and I hit the pawn button, and it says below that it checked and said, good news, no pawn found. No pawnage found. Yeah. So that was about my email. I went again and put my website ID. When I put my website ID, again it said my website address I again hit the pawn, that button. It again went, it checked and said, good news, no pawnage found. So it can be used for your mail as well as if you want to look for any websites. So for fake websites and all, you can always use it. A very good information which I could gather from one of the webinars, the International Council for Online Dispute Resolution. Now, of course, it started by the US non-profit making organization. It was started in 2017, but it talks about promoting online dispute resolutions, negotiations, mediation, arbitration. So just as we have ADR, alternative dispute resolutions here in India, this talks about online dispute resolutions, ODR. Yeah, as against ADR, it talks about ADR but online. So it's online dispute resolution. And again, it's US based, pretty very good good interface, but you have to enroll as a member, and they actually teach you, and they have got videos through which you can learn how to conduct those mediations, arbitrations, and negotiations. For all the points which have been mentioned in the last line, they have got training sessions and videos to that effect. So this is the website address, icodr.org, the International Council for Online Dispute Resolution. So this is the homepage, and I guess that's it, because then you have to be a member to really access that site. Yeah. Now, I guess this is the second last or third last slide, if I'm not mistaken. Domain name disputes. You would all know what domain name is. For example, kbc.com is owned by the professors of the program of KBC, and if it's kbc.co.in, I think KBC, I have got some affiliation with KBC, or maybe I've got some contract with them, some assignment with them, and I also put same pictures or the color and the logo and the font to mislead and confuse the people, to cloud people's mind. So then that is not allowed. So domain name, not registering domain name whereby you would confuse, and there are 2 or 3 more points which we'll talk about in a slide or two. Yeah. So in cases whether there are disputes in regards domain name, example .in, co.in, edu.in, etc., it's called country code top level domain name, because it's country specific. .in, .us is USA, yeah, .uk is UK. Yeah. So .in is India. So it's country code top level domain name. One may approach NIXI, National Internet Exchange of India, and to redress the redressal policy, dispute policy is called INDRP, that is .in dispute resolution policy. We have the policy. As I told you, you cannot book a domain name which is identical or confusingly similar to a trademark or service mark in which the complainant has rights. So if there is existing trademark or service mark in the domain name, then you cannot go and book something. As I said, if I register KBC, then people will start getting confused, because it's identical, it's similar to the KBC. I have put the same fonts, same color, same field, same interface. Then the people will think that they have got some kind of association, and that's why I'm clouding people's mind, which is not allowed. Next, you do not have right or legitimate interest in respect of the domain name. So suppose if I want to book a domain amitabhbachchan.co.in, what do I have any rights or legitimate interest? Why would I want to Amitabh Bachchan? Because I have got no relation with him whatsoever. So then, for that kind of where the rights are lacking or the interests are not in legitimate being, then you cannot register such kind of a domain name. And finally, it says you can't register domain name in bad faith. So only for selling. So I take amitabhbachchan.co.in and I want to sell it to him or his competitors, or maybe renting because it's more of lease, or maybe I want to prevent Amitabh Bachchan or KBC from using their original names, or I want to divert the internet traffic to me, because all it's about hits and getting paid by Google ad and AdWords. Yeah. So this is bad. This is the site of NIXI. This is the homepage. And domain name dispute. This is the registry. This is the policy. For the policy, you have to go to this .registry.in, policy dispute resolution. This is .in registry. And of course, there are various buttons. You need to go and really have a good interface with them. This is the policy, and this all is available. What is the policy? What are the rules and regulations? What is who are the arbitrators? Yeah, everything is mentioned in the .in registry website, which I just gave you the address of. Domain name disputes, in case where there are disputes in regards domain names like .com, .org, .edu, .net. Now these are generic top level, because .com, .org, if it was there, it would have been complete country code. Yeah, because .in it belongs to country, but these are generic. .com, .org, .edu, .net are generic top level domain names. So for that, there is an international establishment, because it's given by ICANN, Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. So you have to go to icann.org, and they've got arbitrators. One of the arbitrators who looks into the domain name dispute resolution policy, it's called UDRP, so Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy. So one of them is WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. Of course, this is the slide for the ICANN, and then we go to WIPO, wipo.int. So they are the arbitrators who will look after the dispute resolution policy, as I said, UDRP. So UDRP, model complaint and filing guideline, just as we have in NICSI, the same policy stands for the UDRP as well. So INDRP and UDRP, the policy remains the same for domain name disputes. See, it's the same. I have just copy pasted the entire content, because of course the title changes. Here is Uniform Dispute UDRP, and there it is INDRP. Now, this was to the best of my knowledge and understanding. I thank you all for giving me patient hearing, and I rest my case. I'll take the question. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for this amazing presentation by you. We have received a lot of messages that it is very much informative, and a lot of knowledge was shared in that. So, sir, we'll take few questions from here. Sir, can you highlight more knowledge on what is meant by zero FIR?
Yeah, so zero FIR is suppose if there is a crime, as I said, if I am in Hyderabad and there is a crime that has been committed against me, and it is committed in a virtual world, but yet I want to put things in right perspective, so I can go to the nearest police station and tell them that you lodge an FIR because a cognizable crime has been committed. Though the cause and effect we are looking at it at a later stage. Yeah, the investigation will shift to the place where I reside, yeah, or where I have an office. But a zero FIR is a must, because then when the FIR is in place, the investigation starts and I am protected to that effect. If I don't take this protection for me, then again I am leaving some open ends. So once that zero FIR is in place, that zero FIR is transferred by that Hyderabad police to the police in Mumbai, where I reside or where my office is, the jurisdiction, and then the investigation starts. But the police officer cannot say, because merely we lack jurisdiction, we will not take your complaint. And for that matter, for women, they can go to any police station and complain. So it's not necessary that they should, suppose if she's residing in Bandra, she may go to Ghatkopar, she may go to Kalyan, she may go to Vasai. Now, it does not make too much of sense. But ideally, the law says that you can go anywhere and make a zero FIR. And that finally it goes to the jurisdiction where you reside or where your office is. So investigation will happen there only.
So I think that is answer for a lot of things which people might have seen, that in many movies or in traditional things we have seen. ये इस area में नहीं आता मैडम, अब वहाँ जाओ पे वहाँ जाओ. I think the answer for all those things is zero FIR. ये हमारे अंदर नहीं आता, अब वो उस पुलिस स्टेशन में जाओ, उस पुलिस स्टेशन में जाओ. I think then you should tell the police person over that to file zero FIR and do.
No officer can fail for lack of jurisdiction deny taking an FIR.
Okay, sir. Also, sir, because a lot of things we were having regarding complaint and FIR, few questions we had. Can you tell us what is the difference between complaint and an FIR?
Complaint could be of civil nature, or it could be it's a facts which have been put forward in for a civil cause or maybe a civil wrong, or maybe for offenses. And FIR is an information given by a person, either the victim or someone who has come across a cognizable offense. What is cognizable? Cognizable offenses are offenses wherein a police officer may start investigating, may arrest a person or search without a warrant from a magistrate. So in such cases, the moment there is an information, be it in writing, be it in oral, be it the victim, be it the victim's family or a friend, or suppose if I am walking on the streets and I find someone is, a body is lying, someone is being murdered, I can go to the police officer. I don't have any relation with that person, but I can go to the police officer and ask him to lodge an FIR saying that there was a crime which was committed. Or suppose if a police constable is going on a bike and if he sees that there is a break-in attempt in an ATM booth, then for that matter, suo moto, he can take those or pick those guys and lodge an FIR once he takes them to the police station. So anyone who has credible information, and if he or she gives it to the police, then the police officer has to register an FIR. And once there is an FIR in place, investigation may start or should start or shall start. Let us put it shall start. But on mere complaint, there need not be an investigation. There may be an inquiry to it. Yeah, so that's the difference. And FIR has a weightage because it is under the CRPC section of 154. And for any trial to begin, an FIR is a must and has to be in place.
Yes, definitely, sir. So few things, sir. So there was a question like are there laws same for young children and adult criminals? I think that is pretty much understood. If it is a child, then POCSO acts are additional things. And
yeah, so ideally, yeah, Juvenile Justice Act will come into place. But then there are certain, after the Nirbhaya case, there are certain instances where Supreme Court had said that when the child is above 16 years, I guess it's 16 years if I am not mistaken, if not 12, it's 16 years of age. And if the crime committed is heinous and he or she knows what crime has been committed, so it has to be full of gravity. Suppose if a child of 16, a boy who is 16 years old age and probably has committed rape, then he knows what he is doing. Then for that matter, he should be tried as an adult. So this is one of the provisions of the Act. Otherwise, POCSO comes into play. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sir, also one more question, sir. What are the barriers that occur while filing an online complaint? Is there anything, sir?
I guess not, because as I told you, FB just posted they just registered a crime and the action has been taken. I'm talking about just 2 days back. So I think so online crime. But the only thing is, once you send or upload the information and the officer in charge reads, and then he has to decide whether it really warrants to be turned into an FIR or not. So you may have a complaint, but whether it really wants to be, it should be turned into an FIR and further investigated or not is his discretion. So I don't see any other problems. I think so, because see, lots of police districts and lots of police stations have really enrolled and are participating. So we are in the gestation period, we are in that maturity period. I'm sure we will do good.
Sure, sir. So last one more question, sir. Before that, I take this personal question from our end also, sir. So as you mentioned that you have a lot of time filed ombudsman complaints with RBI. So would you like to share any case study of that, sir?
Not directly by me, but one of my associate, who is a senior lawyer. There was a SIM swap case of 6 SMSs which had come, blank SMSs, missed call had come. 6 missed call which came to complainant's mobile, and money to the tune of 1.86 crore was swindled out. Yeah, and of course things went to the police station, but could not really stand up well in the investigation. Finally, even the banks were not able to comprehend that what went wrong, because he said that I have not shared my details with anybody. I have not clicked on the phishing mail. I have not shared my OTP, neither my PIN. And a big amount, going 1.86 is a very big amount to go. But then finally, that my associate, he went to ombudsman, and from ombudsman he could get a redressal, and within a month time, he got the entire money credited to his account. So ombudsman is that effective. It's that effective.
Okay, sir. In consumer helpline, which you are mentioning, any consumer, so what kind of complaints can we give on consumer helpline?
So in fact, if you see the latest Consumer Act, which has been amended, even for supplying faulty items, even for delay of items if they don't exchange, so there are lots and lots of service providers who are going to face the music. So earlier there were lots of problems that you did not have a redressal system in place, but now through this portal you can catch hold of any service provider, be it in international or national, and you can bring them to books, whereby you can ask monetary benefits from them by way of compensation or damages. So it's more of deficiency of services on part of the service provider. If it is proved beyond doubt, If the deficiency of that service is proved, as I said, beyond doubt, then of course monetary benefits, compensation, all damages definitely flows.
Sir, on this only one more question, like question has come, sir, because now you might know this, that very on many e-commerce sites, dummy e-commerce sites are coming on which they sell products, but you do not either receive them or you receive a faulty product. So, do they need to go on consumer
Yeah,
helpline
they
or
should be going to consumer court as well, consumers website, as well as they can lodge a complaint with the police, because
okay?
that's a
So,
part of
yeah.
cheating, na?
So,
Yeah, that's a
should
part
we
of
should we
cheating.
go exactly with consumer or the cybercrime portal? There was a
No,
question
both,
like that.
both. I would
Both.
say both, because they need to even pursue with the police, because they have been cheated to the tune of that rupees, by a faulty product. Or maybe if it's more of a faulty product, then you have to go to consumer. But if it's a cheating case where you paid the money and you have not received anything, then it's a clear-cut case of cheating.
Okay. So thank you so much, sir. I think these are only pretty much of questions.
Thank you.
And yeah, so for viewers who are asking that, it will be grateful that if we can get the PPTs or some sort of resources. So we will
All
take
right.
these resources from sir and try to put in a document format and put it on our website. And the links will be shared to all your emails and in the description of this video also. I'll write them all. So thank you so much, sir, for taking an hour with us and sharing your views. It was really, really very much informative, and I hope everyone who is watching this video have got a knowledge on every crime, not only on cybercrime. Our agenda was on cybercrime, but I think now everyone has an agenda. Suppose anything wrong is going on with them, so how to go and whom should we approach? And not only on that, if the action is not taken, how to go to the grievance officer or the rural officer and take an action on the officer who is not taking action also. That's also a very much important point these days, sir. So on the behalf of Cyber Jagrithi board and Cyber Vakeel team, I thanks a lot to you, sir, for taking this amazing time with us and sharing your views with us, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Hope
Thank
to
you
see
so
you
much.
soon
Thank
again
you.
in our campaign. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.